Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Hobby Ramblers. Now with special guests. So this is
Special
Mr.
guest.
Yes. So this is Mr. Connor, otherwise known on Instagram as GP Aussie Painter. Say hello,
G'day,
Mr.
g'day.
Connor. So, Mr. Connor has the dubious honor of being the first person I ever interacted with that wasn't a person I knew in real life on Instagram. And that was like small tidings when the Instagram was really, really small. And I hit up Mr. Connor and just went like, you know what, we're both Aussies, let's do something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, together, nerds strong.
Yeah, together,
Yeah,
nerds
for
strong. Now, I would say there are quite a few Aussie painters out there. A lot of Aussie Instagrammers, especially doing painting.
There are two, yeah.
And some really talented both painters and converters for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely,
So-
100%.
Yeah. So first little prompt I've got on my sheet, right, on my screen over there is for Mr. Connor, our dear guest, is
Yes,
how
ma'am.
did you get started into the hobby, dude?
Oh, crikey. So the journey begins in 2005. At the time I was 10. I had a mate who I was just catching up at his place and he just showed me like this entire full setup of like Lord of the Rings miniatures. And at the time I had no idea what it was. And I was like, Lord of the Rings, this looks sick, this looks awesome. So I picked it up, like played around with it. I was like, this is awesome, man, I love this. So it took me down to a Games Workshop. And I was like a kid in a candy store. I was like, what is this awesome stuff? Like, wow, okay. So
Oh yeah, like Homer skipping through the land of chocolate.
yeah,
Absolutely.
this is back in the days of like, it was Warhammer Fantasy, not Age of Sigmar, and
Yeah.
Warhammer 40k. Like, races went by different names. So instead of Seraphon, you had Lizardmen. This is old school sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's about the time I worked for the company. I got hired when the Two Towers box set got released. And worked on through until 5th 40k. It was
40.
just before Age of Sigmar, like End Times was just starting when I left the company.
Yeah, so
well,
about 2013, something like that. Something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, me and Molly both used to work for Games Workshop. I'm the most recent one where I'm just like, oh, screw this, don't like it. But
Yeah, no, I come from the golden age where it was the company was still owned by nerds. There was a lot more focus on crazy customer service and like just building the hobby, not the quotas.
yeah,
Gotcha.
whereas
Yeah, that was a big difference.
Yeah, whereas I left because of the crazy corporatist structure that they were trying to really, really emphasize and adopt. And it was like,
Yep.
we're not a corporation. I mean, like, we're all nerds at heart. Like, you're gonna try and have nerds run a corporation. It's not gonna end well. And look at it now.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, continue on with your story, dude. Like, so you went to the Games Workshop and you saw
Yeah,
fantasy
crikey.
miniatures. And what was your first purchase? Did you
first purchase was the Mines of Memoria, Lord of the Rings pack. Came with like the terrain features, the goblins.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Old school, man. Back in the day. So, yeah, that was great. So I got my little first painting set, first little brushes. I remember the first model I ever painted was one of the goblins, and it was just blobs of color. There was no detail.
Yeah.
None of this painting paint. Yeah, just like
Dunk.
one thick coat all the way, mate. One thick coat.
Yeah. My first Dark Angel had a smooth mask.
Yeah.
My first
that's good.
Imperial
That's
Guardsman was just like, didn't know what thinning paint was, didn't know what inks were. Nobody taught me. The GW employee never taught me, and I just went like,
What's a
straight
dry
from the bottom.
brush?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
That is a
Oh,
big plus now. In this day and age, like there's lots of very detailed tutorials of how to do things like shades, inks. You've got different paints. Back in the
Yeah.
old days, it was like make a wash. You just get your standard layer paint and just water it down, or your dry
yeah,
brush. You just use a normal layer. There's not any of this. Like the viscosity of paint is like so varied now. Where back
Yeah.
then it's just like, all right, get your snake bite
and
leather and just dry brush it or wash it or whatever the heck you wanted to do.
yeah, and you just get a very, very good result with minimal effort, or like the miniaturization and affordability of airbrushes have completely changed the aesthetic of popular painting techniques.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah,
yeah.
gradients on everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
we're spoiled for choice now if anyone's going to want to try and get into the
Definitely.
hobby, just because there's so many different avenues to learn from. You can go to a local game shop,
Yeah,
Warhammer
100%.
shop, or like a local hobby shop where they're more than likely going to tell you and teach you how to paint, at least the basics. Then you can take it from there, and there's so many other YouTube tutorials, so many resources that you can take from, and so many
Oh,
different
heck yeah.
brands to really
Or even
sink
just
your teeth in.
super helpful Facebook groups. I've had a lot of really good pointers from people in various like Heresy and Titanicus groups. It tends to be the more specialist games where they're like very open with their secrets above of making things look sexy.
Yeah, because they're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
40K guys are like, no, it's my precious mix.
Well,
Literally.
it's kind of interesting because like when you get into the commission painting stuff, right? And people that you've commission painted stuff from ask you about like recipes and stuff like that. It's a very weird feeling to give it out or to give out recipes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They might not be
I
return
tend to use the
customers.
Colonel's herbs and spices excuse. I'm like, sorry, man, secret recipe goes to the grave with me.
Yeah, it's
I'll give you a hint. It starts with Scorpy Green. Have fun finding it.
Yeah.
it's a bit.
But even though you can give someone like your recipe in great detail, but the application of that is purely your skill and hard work. You can't give a complete new beginner painter your recipe and your experience and have the same result. Theirs is going to be worse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because there's definitely a tactile sensation to painting. Like you just know when there's too much, not enough, just right paint on the brush, how much pressure to put. I recently. Oh yeah, you go. Sorry, man.
Sorry, I was just saying, the angle. Hey, hold it.
Angle, holding the brush like in different ways with your hand, so you can get those nice, perfect, straight pinstripes on there. I very recently started learning how to tattoo, and my biggest stumbling block is I don't put enough pressure because I keep treating everything like a fucking paintbrush.
Yeah.
You're not getting the inks right in there into the dermal layer.
Yeah. Like I gotta learn to dig a little.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, it's a completely different skill set.
It's very, very specialized.
Oh, very much so. Although I'm noticing there's some overlap when it comes to like fine motor skill, the ability to draw a straight line, stuff like that. But yeah, it's an interesting new outlet for my skills. Definitely won't be doing it as a career, but happy to tattoo my friends.
Yeah.
And hopefully pay for the laser surgery if it turns that bad.
Oh no, man! When you come visit, Bill, you're waking up with some shit on your face.
What the fuck?
Oh, it's just gonna stay like Love Machine. It'll be great. It'll go over well.
As if I was. I would still like to
Right.
be
We digress.
employable, please. Oh
Well,
my
in
gosh.
certain
Oh my
industries, you'll be super employable.
So Connor, so so did you have any lapses in your hobby? Did you go to uni and pause a bit and get back to it, or
Oh, heck yeah.
oh,
Heck yeah.
tell us about that. Tell
So
us
I'll
about
probably
that.
yeah, I'll fill in the details a bit. So it started in 2005. That's when it all began.
Yeah,
I painted every so often during school. Wasn't particularly too hardcore. I just enjoyed it as a pastime. High school passed, didn't really do much. After high school, I went to TAFE and then uni, and then obviously life gets in the way a bit. But I've always did it in the background, just bits and pieces here and there.
yeah,
I didn't really get straight into the hobby full steam ahead until 2018 April, which is when I uploaded my first YouTube video,
mm,
and that's how I created the name GP Aussie Painter. So everyone keeps asking, what does the GP stand for? It's really stupid. You ready? So the
Yeah.
camera I used to film was a GoPro. So it's a GoPro Aussie Painter.
oh, oh,
Yeah, that's what the GP stands for. Yeah. So I
Right.
realized then that GoPros don't have a really good macro lens, so they're horrible for fine detail pictures. So, but they're really good for time lapse. So my first YouTube video was how I repainted Iron Man, and then I did
yeah,
Thor, then I did Hulk, and then Hulkbuster. So that was all done with a GoPro, but the last one, Hulkbuster, was done with an actual phone.
yeah,
So I really got engaged with painting stuff, and then obviously when you go on the internet, you get that platform, get that attention. It's a bit addicting. You get hooked on it.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep.
that's when I started becoming more consistent. And then my mate who plays D&D saw those YouTube videos and goes, "Hey man, you're actually not too bad." And I was like, "Oh dude, they're fucking shit. What are you talking about?" And
We all say that,
basically,
man. We all say
Yeah.
that.
you're very much a harsh critic on yourself. Notice that. Like, you'll think something looks like absolute dog poo, but other people go, "Hey, that's actually pretty good." Like, they
Yeah,
see the
like,
good in it where you see the mistake.
I want to give you money, paint my man. I'm like, oh, really? All right, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I do this for my pastime, dude. What? But yeah, so then he started giving me D&D figures to paint, and then he showed them to his mates, and they're like, "Dude, you're actually really good." So I think what happens is when you get multiple feedback from many different sources saying you're doing a good job, that's when you start to go, "Okay, maybe I'm actually okay at this, not
Yeah.
just So then I started posting stuff on Facebook. People thought it was good, and then my mate again from D&D gave me like $150 worth of models. And he's like, "I'm going to become a DM now, like a dungeon master. Paint
Yeah.
my entire campaign's worth of figures, and I'll pay you." I'm just like, what the?
yeah.
Okay, sure. So it ended up being 27 figures in total. So I painted them all up best I could, and that started the consistency of when I got Instagram to upload regularly. So that happened in, oh crikey, 2020 December was when I started. So last year, no, year before last year. That's when I started
I know,
posting
man.
regularly.
Time doesn't make any sense anymore, dude.
That's it, eh? So yeah, so that's I've always had a passion for painting. So in summary, I've always had a passion for it. But when I actually got consistent and doing it a lot was only about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Awesome.
And have you found as your technique develops, you become more open to experimentation?
Yes, it is very scary though, because I find, I don't know about you guys, you want to
Fucking
stay in your
scary.
little comfort zone. You want to stay in your comfort zone. I always want to stick to my washes, my dry brushing, and my layers. Go away feathering, go away blending, non-metallic metal, piss off.
Yeah,
Because when you start it,
Yeah, yeah.
you're like a baby again, and it looks crap, and you're like, "Oh, I used to feel good because they look good, but now they look shit because I'm starting something new." But that's where you grow. That's how you develop as a better painter. You're doing
100%.
stuff for bad.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm dipping my toes into weathering powders right now, and
Yep.
I'm hopeful for the end results, but I know I need to be a little less tentative with them.
It's
So,
just like anything. It's just starting from the beginning.
yeah, like
Yeah,
I'm
flight time. The longer you fly, the better you are at it.
Yep.
yeah, it took me a long time to break out of my shell, especially since
Hmm.
working in Games Workshop, you are kind of forced to use this just the Citadel paint
Citadel
range.
paints a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
So like
base coat, layer, dry brush.
So you get
Done.
you get very proficient at using them well and quickly, but you eventually hit like a little plateau where the time it takes to get to do certain things becomes so unreasonable that it's like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Idiots.
So as soon as
Yeah.
I left, I started experimenting with different things. That's why I got into oil paints, and then eventually like airbrushing, and then now I use a combination of airbrushing and oil paints. And now I'm dipping my toe into alcohol-based paints and enamels, and seeing how that goes to get like some really, really like strong chrome effects.
Yep.
Yeah, I got into alcohol base last year, and I'm never turning back for my metallics again. They're so fucking good, dude. They go on like butter, one coat, super solid, mild ink wash, done. Fucking done.
But very, very toxic. Don't.
Oh yeah. If you lick your brush, you die.
Not really die, but like induce vomiting.
And you know you're gonna die a little sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, speed the process a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I found that my kind of reasoning to go into different techniques has never been to increase my skill. It's always been just, how could it make this easier for me?
Yeah, there is that aspect to it, absolutely. And reaching out and using a wider and wider variety of materials, techniques, to achieve things that used to be like a million highlights of milk thin white. You can just pull off with like a good airbrush and a little bit of like a controlled wash.
Yeah. It's now with the whole advent of technology and the advent of like the acceptance of the community in general. I don't know if you remember this, Connor. Like, you know, back in the day when people were very iffy about airbrushing, and they were like, "Oh, I don't want to airbrush; it'll be like cheating."
And
the community was a bit like,
remember that.
It was like, what? And now we look at it now. It's just like,
man, it's just a different technique. It's like water paints to oils. You're still achieving a beautiful image. You're just going about it in a different way.
Yeah, and now we've got...
Probably the only time you could be nitpicky about that is in maybe competitions. I don't know if Golden Demon are like specific, like must be hand painted with this or must be airbrushed, or they don't care. But that's the only time I can think it would get like a bit controversial.
I don't even think so.
Potentially, but there are things you can do with both that you cannot do with the other.
I don't even think that. I think the Golden Demon judging panels don't care how you achieve it. It's basically like they have they have a checklist of requirements where it's like must have X amount of highlights, must have this amount of colors in a certain like, you know, area zone, that kind of thing. Must have like this level of shading, this like blah blah blah. As long as you take all those things,
and bonus marks for like object source lighting and directional highlights and
So
it's
like
very technical assessment based.
Yeah, so they don't go by how you do it; it's by what results you get out of it. Like they don't care if you use a bloody toothpick or like, you know, you do it in crayons. If it looks good, they'll be like, very good.
You do it in house paint, it looks sex.
Like, more power to you, more power to you. So there, I took a look at the Golden Demon kind of like competition requirements like a year or two ago when I was thinking of like entering, because a couple of the people in my shop were just like, you should totally enter, Bill. And I'm like, nah, I'm not good enough. I took a look at the requirements, like 20 requirements or something, 20 checklist boxes, and then like, you know, that kind of thing. Which is pretty full on, but then again, like they get so many applicants, I'm sure they need that checklist to kind of like, you know, just go through everything and then get to like the cream of the crop faster, and then like actually have a proper look at like the cream of the crop rather than going through every single individual one, which would take years to grade.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they're very fair.
Yeah.
They're very, very fair.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh
Right
man.
on.
Uh, so what's been on your table, Connor, recently? Like anything new and exciting going on at GP Aussie Painter?
Oh, crikey.
New
So,
projects that are
yeah. So I was in my prime where I was pumping out projects all the time, probably like last year, like May, September. And kind
Yep.
of towards the end of the year, I sort of went down in like activity a bit just because life gets in the way, new job, relationship, that sort of thing.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Less free time.
Sometimes you just hit a wall. Also,
Yeah, you can stagnate a bit and just get demotivated. You can get to like places where you'll produce something really good and everyone's like, oh, it's fantastic. Then you're like, finish the painting for a bit. Like it's just you go up and down.
Yeah. Yep.
So new projects. I just finished a Marvel Crisis Protocol Wolverine figure. That was a commission paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then then I did a Mars rover figurine. I don't know what it's for a particular board game. I did it for Meeple University, one of our Instagram account. But I don't know what game it's for. I've got no idea. But so that was the most recent project. What's next is, oh man. Okay, so without too many spoilers, but completely spoiling it, I've got a Doom Guy figure, which is about this big. I've got
Oh, okay.
Alien versus Predator,
oh fucking a!
Yetis. I've got other random figures. They're all sitting there in my cabinet. I've got heaps of putrid, like Nurgle Chaos Space Marines. By the looks of
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
I've got a Master Chief, big ass like statue like this. I want to like pull apart and repaint it. So I've got a lot of random crap, but it's just a matter of actually doing it.
Yeah. Finding one project and digging into the bitch. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. That can be
So
a bit
heaps.
difficult.
One quick question. I want to go back on something you said a few moments ago, and this is very important. Which
Yep.
costume did you paint Wolverine in?
I can show you if you want.
Yeah.
I don't know how good
Yeah,
the
show
camera
us,
quality
show
is going to be, so bear with me.
It'll be
So I still got to
fine.
ship him off. He was paying for.
Oh yeah, classic
So
yellow
it
blue.
It was the
Yeah.
old school 90s comic book style. You can kind of tell.
Yeah.
Bad quality. But yeah, so that took me a fat minute, being a couple of months, because I had lots of stagnated painting procrastination.
Or like when you're just staring at the model and you realize like 45 minutes has passed and you haven't done anything. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's time to put you down and go do something else.
Yeah. You get that sometimes.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, this is gonna be such a ball ache. I'm not gonna do it. Screw it.
Yeah. Sometimes I mix it up by painting like just one of my own personal projects really fast just to get kind of like the taste out of my mouth.
Yeah, get the momentum back. You got to have side projects. I think one time I nearly just completely burnt out because I decided to paint, to the best of my ability, 20 Easterlings in a row.
Oh my god.
So they're all the same color, all the exact same. And I've got it on my Instagram. I
Like,
did finish it.
Reposts, including Bowman.
Yeah, but so just the Eastling regular squad. So just 20 of the swords and
classic
shields
one.
and the archers. I do have the post on Instagram. It took me a month to paint 20 of them, and it was just because it's all the same thing: red, gold, red, gold, red, gold, highlight, highlight, highlight. It's. I did it like factory mode.
Yep.
Yeah, I almost burnt out then. So if you're gonna that paint stuff, have something on the side just to break up the mundaneness of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
that
in the
very
middle
well.
of a massive gene sealer commission.
Gene style, nice.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
Good.
So
30 down, like 110 to finish.
Oh, dude,
Something
anything
like
more
that.
than 20, I want to go neck myself.
yeah.
Hey man, I'm hitting them basic. I'm keeping a limited color palette. All my vehicles are getting the shit airbrush out of them.
Yep.
And it's turning out pretty good. Client's happy with the color scheme, and it's suiting what he wanted, and reflects the price point he paid, right?
Yep. So
You don't want to put like 110% effort in every model, otherwise you'll burn out.
You'll just die. You're just
No,
like, hey,
115%
just
goes
go.
to the Patriarch, the Magus, and the Primus. Everyone else gets like between 100 and 75 solid percent.
I will go like less, honestly. Like I'm like, oh my gosh. So I just finished some of the new Cool Boys, the new Agents of My Cool Boys, right? And they have just finished over here, right? So just the camera will focus and play nice. Will play nice.
I can pick up the main colors. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Oh, you gotta see it in focus. His face is so gross.
It's one of those
Yeah, camera isn't doing any justice.
Show us your ugly face.
You can do it. You can do it. Oh my god. Sometimes the camera will play with it. It's a webcam, but sometimes it won't. It is. Oh, there it is.
There you go. Cruel Boys on Instagram.com. There he is. I just had to start plugging him and he came in.
There you go. So
I really like what you've done with the skin and the highlights and the undertones. It's really, really nice.
yeah.
Yeah, and like genuinely looks like humorous and nasty and underground dwelling chud.
Yeah, I really went through with the whole lead into the whole like almost natural skin tones because I didn't feel it was right to just paint them like green or orange. It would make them look a bit too.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Too high fantasy. I wanted to bring them back to a bit more Lord of the Rings because they reminded me of the Uruk-hai a little bit.
Yep.
So I wanted to have give them actual man flesh, but
no, it's good. I like how you've got like the sort of skin color on the top, and you have like a reddish undertone, so it gives that nice, not an OSL, what's it, zenithal kind of effect, which is really good.
Yeah, the effect was just to get all those veins and make them look really off, really inflamed, really something's wrong with them. It's like if this was a person's skin tone, it'll be a bit like something's very wrong with them, as opposed to as opposed to the so this is the other side of the box set, which is the Stormcast Eternals, and I painted them in Superman as Superman color scheme. And
the last Stormcast of Krypton.
Yeah, if the thing will actually focus, because it is a webcam. Webcams do not do well with miniatures.
Is that some OSL on the hammer that I can see?
Yeah.
That's dope. It hasn't focused yet, but I can kind of pick out what you've done. It looks really good.
Yeah, I'm trying to show you his face. There he
is. There's a pretty boy.
Yeah, so there's his face.
Nice.
So his face is really peachy, quite rosy, but it's it's very pristine, kind of heroic art style, face where it's yes, grizzled old veteran kind of style, son of Krypton, that kind of thing.
Good stuff.
Really over embellished stuff. So it's a real. It really, I really had to stretch out what I wanted to do with both of them because they're so opposite to each other, and so that's a very fun commission just over there. And my next commission is basically doing 80 of these Space Marines in Imperial Fist, yellow, lots and lots of yellow.
I don't know if you know, but for the Wolverine figure I did, Everland Sunset is a very, very good deep yellow base paint.
Yeah.
It covers really well. It's unnatural. Every yellow I've used but that has been poor coverage.
Yep. So for these guys, right, I've kind of I've got to plan them out to be more codex compliant and okay, this guy's helmet's meant to be red. This one has to do this one has to do that. So it's it's one of those kind of
little hair on his pads.
Yep, exactly. But
you guys still hear me clearly? It is raining heavily outside. I'm not being muffled at all, am I?
No, audio's coming out loud and clear, my friend.
Okay. Awesome.
You see, that's
Just double checking.
that's the amazing thing with like phones nowadays. Like you can easily do like a live stream thing on your phone, and it sounds pretty dang good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, technology's crazy these days, man.
yeah, man,
Yeah, long are the days of searching through old forums for rumors and trading for bits and
Yeah.
getting conversion ideas.
Yeah.
The future's
man.
pretty dope.
The future is very dope, and I'm very excited to see like what other companies are going to be doing. Because I just realized,
and
hey,
3D printing.
and 3D printing,
Yeah,
yes, 3D
and the
printing
embrace
is
of 3D printing, both in the private and individual public sectors.
yeah.
Like
So 3D
literally, for
print,
example, my mate literally 3D printed this God of War statue.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
one hell of
Just
a
like,
great.
hell yeah.
The new grizzled Kratos from Valhalla, like from that.
Yeah. Pretty sick.
Oh man, yeah. 3D printing has been a bit of a hot button topic recently. Ever since it really came out, and now it's advanced so quickly because there's quite a few 3D printing companies out there right now that have their own little machines, and the market is so small that they're always in competition with each other. So like every year or every half year, it's almost like there's a new thing, a new better 3D printer that's faster, higher resolution, cheaper, and it's like
Cost effective, can pump out more dudes in a shorter period of time.
yeah, it's insane.
And I've noticed the community seems to be not evenly divided, but a loud minority of like company loyalists are up in arms, fucking pitchforks and torches about the whole abstract of 3D printing, and everyone else is like, but I want a weird looking multi melta for my Lehman Russ. Shut up.
That's it, eh? That's it.
Buying the Lehman Russ.
Yeah, but on the other end, right, like you've got the other very vocal minority from the 3D printing community that's like, oh, I will never have to spend another cent on like GW again. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like the
Fair.
idea of like just for one 3D printing like actual just like copies of like other people's models. I think that's
as long as they're to a degree intellectually distinct, I have no
Yeah.
real problem with it. It's direct rips of someone else's art where I'm like,
yeah,
it's kind of lame, guys.
Yeah, it's like the artist rule of like if you are adding something to it, if you're appropriating something to add something to it, by all means, do it.
Yeah.
Like
If
like,
you're
I apologize, guys.
stereotyping someone else's
We have to
time.
do about 10 minutes. Sorry.
oh, you have to go in 10 minutes. All right, cool. No worries. So
Good.
last
Any other questions you got?
yeah, our last prompt is basically. Do you have any concerns for the hobbying in general, or for hobby for you personally?
Oh, well, I think we've sort of kind of touched base on that already with the 3D printing and copyright. And I will say, I know all businesses, their main objective is to make profit. That's just flatline what a business is designed to do. But I personally think, it makes sense. The Games Workshop is probably getting a bit pricey, but I understand why, because they're now bursting up against, like we said, 3D printing, private and public sectors. So they've got to up their value so they make enough, so that makes sense. But it's just someone just getting into the hobby and a well-known brand such as Games Workshop, for them to have everything that's very pricey, it is very much an uphill battle to get to people.
There is a distinct risk of pricing people out, or scaring new people away after a very short period of time, which isn't going to grow the hobby. And the one thing we all do is more of us doing this, because then we can all learn together, grow together, have good times together, roll some dice, drink some beers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like like since we all started at quite a young age, I find it very difficult to to imagine a kid or a young teenager coming into Games Workshop and buying their first kit with their pocket money allowances without
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if you guys have looked at, for example, D&D miniatures, right? Often enough, you get a blister pack for $10. That often includes 2 models, or it includes like a bigger model.
Details solid.
Games Workshop.
Mold lines are so, and the plastic's a little soft. But for $14.99, I can get like a fire giant.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people are starting the hobby as well, and I looked at like the other day. I think it was a pack of Primaris Space Marines. It was like $100 for 5 models. I'm like,
Yeah, the Aussie pricing
like
model.
5 for a pack of 10.
Yeah. Like, unless that box comes with a free blowjob, that's not worth it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Aussie pricing model is freaking insane. Like, Jesus.
Oh, it's nuts.
Like, it is insane. It is insane. All right.
So
I'm a little luckier in North America, but it's
Singapore is slightly
certainly
better, but it's getting up there now.
Not good. Not good. Not $25 for 5 tactical Marines, or heaven forbid, way back in the day, like 2 Land Raiders for 20 quid. Like,
when was that? Like prehistoric ages?
like 89, 90?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where my £3.50 blister pack characters.
Yeah. For $6 for 4 metal dudes. That was a good time.
That was a good time.
Back in the day when like a 5mm paint pot was like actually $5, not what's it like $6.50, $7.50 now? It's for the same amount of paint.
It is.
For less paint, they've actually shrunk the interior of the bottle, increased the dip on the bottom. Yeah, you have less fluid ounces today than you did 10 years ago.
Yeah, and
that's why.
Now it's closer to like $7.
I like Vallejo.
Yeah, dude, Vallejo, let's go. They're actually really good.
Yeah, is that Dead White too?
Yeah, there you go. I've got my game color right over here as well. I'll join the Vallejo Club.
Yeah, Dead White.
Oh, look at that. Dead White as well.
Dead White Crew.
Dead White Crew.
Oh, man, yeah. Everyone's got a bit of Vallejo here and there. I've been trying to use AK paints. I'm just like, hit or miss.
Yeah, I'm fussing about with Green Up World.
Dropper. That's the biggest advantage. Just drop your paint, not instead of like getting an old paintbrush and scooping it out like a spoon.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, I've been trying
so much more of an elegant system.
Yeah.
If GW were to switch over to droppers, like, oh lord.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to find a paint that has been going to replace my Retributor armor, like gold, to replace that. The AK Metallic is not that, but
it is not that.
Not that. I've still yet to find a good.
Maybe try the Mr. Metal Brass. It's my go-to gold now.
Yeah. Maybe I'll give it a try, but that is that enamel or is that like a?
It's alcohol based.
Yeah. So that is one good thing about the GW paints. They do have some real like golden gems there, especially their technical range where it's very, very. Only recently have like the other paint brands have kind of caught up, especially with the Army Painter speed paint range. Basically,
I want to get my hands on some of those and give them a whirl.
Yeah, I really want to start airbrushing through them, like. Because then, like, just a few drops in there, and then just go straight through.
Cheat.
Maximum cheat, and also cheaper than contrast.
Righty, guys. I do have to shoot. So, any wrapping up comments?
All right. Well, let us wrap it up now. So, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for making it all the way to the end. If you'd like to be on an episode of Hobby Ramblers, feel free to message me on Instagram at DragonToothMakes, or maybe like direct message me on the YouTube message boards or something like that. Or you can message Mr.
Or just leave a spicy comment, and after we're done swearing at you, maybe you can come on.
Yep, exactly. So you can message me or Mr. Molly.
Did you want to pimp any of your socials before you go, mate?
And Mr.
Yeah, we do that. Sure.
So
Do I have you on Instagram, or I can send them to Dragon Tooth or Bill if you want?
yep. No worries.
Yep.
But you can find Connor at GP Aussie Painter on Instagram. Did you have a Facebook page, dude?
I think I got a Facebook page, got a YouTube channel. I don't really just go to Instagram. I don't really use YouTube or the Facebook, so you'll find me on Instagram.
All right, no
I've got
problem.
a little logo with the kangaroo, like holding up a paintbrush and a weight, so you'll be able to see it pretty easy.
All right.
Right.
I'll make sure to put your Instagram link in the description below. And yeah,
Sweet.
don't forget, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon and comment down below on what you guys think of this new guest setup for Hobby Ramblers. I think it's really good. Gives a good highlight to the community and gives everyone a chance to get on here. All right,
man.
guys.
Nerd Pride worldwide.
Yes,
That's
Nerd
it.
Pride.
That's it.
All right, keep on painting, guys. Have a great day and bye-bye.
See you guys.
Later.
And
Go on.
Oh.